Good afternoon. My name is Heather Cameron and welcome to our weekly live coaching in the Bold and Successful Women's Business Group. I come weekly to coach you on different topics that come up, and today I want to talk about how to step into your power and why it is so important for you to do that to have the success that you want in your business. As I said, my name is Heather Cameron and my passion is helping women entrepreneurs create the business that they want by turning strangers into paying clients. So give me a sec. I'm just going to make sure I'm live and then we'll get on to our topic today about step into your power. So if you're joining me live, say hi, let me know you're here. I'm going to pull up another window, and I apologize if you do put a message and I don't see it. For some reason, Facebook doesn't always show me where my messages are coming from. So Liz is there. Hi, Liz. Thank you. I need to reach out and talk to you soon. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. I want to talk today about stepping into your power. And this topic came about from being in another group, and somebody posted something about what to do when you go live on Facebook. And I'm just going to read some of the comments because it really resonated with me about how to step into your power. So one of them was, so the question was, what are your best tips for going live on Facebook? And one of the answers that came was give value, prepare so your audience can follow you, be yourself, don't overthink the details, and have fun and go with it. So that's important, right? The next one was write on a little sticky note a few talking points and you can keep the live active and engaging. Don't be too rehearsed, just be yourself. And another one was just do it, smile, be passionate, be relevant. And what's really important about that is the message that came from those messages was be yourself, be your power, be yourself, step into what you need to say, be prepared, but not over prepared, but be yourself. And then there was one more answer that didn't resonate with me at all. And I pointed it out only because it speaks to something of a misconception that women are under. And the last one was, first, make sure you're dressed for success. Your image is number one. People buy you, not your products, at first. Do your hair, makeup, smile a lot. And for me, it missed the point because I do believe that people buy from you, but they don't buy from your makeup and your hair. They don't buy from perfect everything. They buy from your essence, from what you bring to the table. So when you're 100% yourself, people are going to resonate with you. They're going to buy from you. They're going to be more excited by you. So it's about putting your personal power into what you do. Not about perfect makeup and perfect hair. And one of my most popular watched videos, I don't think it's up anymore, on Facebook was a couple years ago where I was at the garden center and I was stuck behind a car and I couldn't get back in time to do a live I had promised to do. So I did a live with a baseball cap on with mud on my face, literally, from the garden center. And I got fantastic feedback from that because that's being authentically you. If I show up to you on this video with perfect makeup and perfect hair and perfect clothing, and I go through all the stress to do that, and I'm not authentically myself, you're not going to connect with me. But if I show up with a baseball cap on and mud on my face, and I'm authentically there for you, and I'm 100% myself, you're going to connect. People are going to connect to that. So what resonated for me and what came up with this topic is that we tell women we need to be 100% put together. We tell women that we have to put a face on. We tell women that we have to put ourselves into somebody else's image to resonate and to be successful, and that's not true. What you need to be is your authentic, amazing, beautiful, powerful self. Right? And the messages that go out for women are so much on that old path, and it's not going to get you what you want in your business. It's not going to create success. What creates success in your business is when you show up 100% you. And it's not always the easiest thing to do. Sometimes we got voices going in our own heads and all of that kind of thing. But when we show up 100% ourselves and we talk from our heart and from our knowledge and from our passion, that's when people connect to us. That's when people really connect to the speaker. Now, I'm not saying show up in your horrible clothes or anything like that. That's not the point. If you like to look, I don't wear makeup. Let's use this as an example. I don't wear makeup because 99% of the makeups out there I'm allergic to. So for me to plaster on makeup and I would be uncomfortable, number one. And number two, it's just not me. So if me not wearing makeup is an issue for you, then you and I are not the right clients. Right? If that's going to be something that you're going to push on and go, wait, she's not wearing any makeup. Well, there's a whole story of why I don't wear makeup. And it's, if that's going to make you judge me, then you're not someone who I probably would work with, right? So when you show up as your authentic, amazing self, and you really just say, I'm here for the passion of what I do. I'm here to make a difference for myself, for my audience, for the people who are there, that one person who's listening, that one person who's listening now, that one person who's listening in the future. I'm here to make a difference for them. I'm here to make a difference. I'm here to share what I'm passionate about. That's when you show up as your powerful self. And that's not just on a Facebook Live. That's when you're writing copy. That's when you're getting up in the morning and saying, what do I want to do today? That's when you're showing up to your powerful self. And there's a quote I want to share that I put out in an email yesterday. And it's from Leonardo da Vinci. And I think it's a really great quote. It has long since come to my attention that people of accomplishment rarely sat back and let things happen to them. They went out and happened to things. So my question for you is, are you going out and happening to things? And are you showing up as your powerful self when you do that? Or are you letting all these other voices in your head, all these stories that we tell ourselves, all the things that women have coming at them from other places, are you letting them hold you back? And does that make sense? And I know Liz is on here. Thank you so much, Liz, for being here. And for anybody who's listening to the replay, does that make sense, right? Can you find the moments in your life when you do show up as that powerful self? And those moments where we hold ourselves back because we're worried about what other people are thinking. We're worried, what makes going live, and I'm going to use live as an example because we can show up as our powerful self in lives and really affect a change. But what's holding you back from doing these things? Whether it's going live, whether it's sharing content, what's holding you back? What is the thing that's making it difficult for you to do these things that you want to do, right? And then what is your power? And just kind of an aside for this, or part of the same story, our power, the thing that makes us truly powerful to other people, is often, almost like 80-90% of the time, that one thing is something that we take so for granted that we don't even think about, that we think everybody has it because it comes so natural for you. It comes so natural that we undervalue it. Right? So whatever your natural power is, you're probably dismissing it because it's undervalued, right? We just think everybody can do it, right? Everybody can do that. Well, no, everybody can't do that. And what you're so brilliant at is what other people are going to value. It's what other people are going to see. Liz, it does make sense. I often go on live with no makeup and messy hair. Exactly. Two of the most powerful women that I follow online right now are 100% authentically themselves when they come online. They don't worry about how they're made up. They don't worry what other people are thinking. And it's not that they come trashed up. I don't mean that. They just come as themselves. They're, and they're very different people and they're very different presenters. I can think of a third one. And the third one does come very coiffured and very beautiful, but that's her background, right? She's coming from what's comfortable for her, but she doesn't, it's not something that's prevalent. It's just who she is, right? And my point about this is really that when you're going live, when you're sharing your content, when you're running your business, when you want to create movement and change in your business for yourself and for others, you have to step into your power, right? You have to step into those things that you're really good at. And there's an opposite part of this as well, is it's not such a bad idea to recognize the things that you're not good at and to figure out how you can outsource them eventually. Maybe you can't outsource them now. But if we're taking the time that we want to work per day and we're putting our energy into the tasks that we're not that great at, and we're avoiding the tasks that we're really, really good at, they're going to make a significant difference in our business, then how can you plan? Because you might not be able to outsource them right away, but how can you plan and recognize what those tasks are? And when is it appropriate for you to move them or try and get somebody in there or work towards having somebody do them for you because you're better at something else, right? So what is your power, right? That's what's going to sell. And by the way, we are all in business to sell. And if you don't believe that, then I'm going to challenge you to say that you're not in business. Because if we don't sell, whatever it is we do, if we don't sell it, how can we provide that service to anybody? Now, potentially, a great example of a case where this is slightly different is a dentist. So I've used dentist offices before as an example. A dentist will fill themselves up with as many clients as they possibly can. And once they have a full roster, whatever the correct word is, once they have a full amount of patients, once their patients are full, they aren't really selling anymore. They're selling to their patients, they're selling and they're upselling and they're selling different services, but they're no longer going out to get new clients. Their model has changed from selling to maintaining and managing their business. But there's not a lot of businesses that applies to. Accountants are another one that might happen to, but businesses come and go. And if you're not bringing new people in, eventually you're going to lose some, right? So your business will stay the same size, which can be fine. If that's what you want, that's great. But for the most part, most businesses are always selling. And that's the best service we can give people, because if we don't sell, then we can't grow our business and we can't serve ourselves and serve more people. And to sell, what truly sells is being in your own power. And think about it. Think about people you know who you see walking confidently down the street, or you see online, or you see somewhere, and they're just radiating a certain energy. They're just radiating something, and it doesn't have to be like, yay, in your face. We all have, when we're stepping into our power, it can be the most quietest, subtle, non-assuming person, and they're in their power, and you're attracted to that, right? It could be the loud, boisterous person, and they're in their power, and you're attracted to that. It's when we're not being authentic about it and we're not stepping into our power that people don't resonate with us. And we don't know why, but they're not resonating with us because we're not sitting in our personal power. And that's what sells. That's what's going to get you, whether it's a Facebook Live, content, whatever it is, when you step into your personal power, when you just authentically be you, whatever you is, and you really think about what are those things that you do so naturally that people don't value, that you don't value, that other people are amazed by. What are those things that you can bring into your business so that you are playing in your personal power? And when you do this on a daily basis, when you do the work to say, okay, how am I in my power today? What do I need to do to ground myself to be in my power today? What do I need to tell myself to be in my power today? There's a speaker I've had on this group several times, with Robin Smith, who, if you aren't following her, Robin is a great person to follow for Instagram and for, she's in the group. So you can search on Robin Smith. She does Instagram and she does multi-level marketing as well. But Robin, every time before she goes live, and she shared this many times, before she goes live, and she goes live a lot, she actually does a self-power generating exercise, for lack of a better word, and she probably calls it something better than that, but she really goes through a ritual before she goes live every single time. And what Robin's doing, which is really empowering trick to do for yourself, is she imagines that her next client is listening. Right? There's one person out there, whether they're listening live or listening on the replay, there's one person out there who needs to hear her message. There's one person out there whose life she's going to change or affect. And no matter when she's going live, what she's doing, she always does this ritual to do it. And her energy in all her lives is so attracting. It's so compelling. And Robin will tell you, she's an introvert. But yet her lives come across with such authenticity, and such energy and such positiveness that you really want to go listen and find out more about what Robin does. And that's what good marketing is. And it can come across in your words, it can come across in your marketing, come across in your live, it can come across in meeting somebody when you step into that energy and you realize that you're here to serve, if you want to use that term, but by presenting yourself and presenting the best of your products and services, that's when people are going to be attracted to it, and that's when people are going to buy for this. I'm going to read your comment over in my other window, Liz, because it comes across really small on my phone. This is so timely. I need a reminder. Funny, being isolated with COVID, we can forget and beat ourselves up talking to ourselves. Even when we have something we do well, we can doubt ourselves. Absolutely. And I think you're right. COVID has created this isolation for us. And if you're an extrovert, that isolation, even if you're an introvert, it doesn't matter. This isolation has been good. But we go into those stories, right? We tell ourselves stories that are just so crazy, right? I think if we got in somebody else's head and we challenged their stories they're telling themselves, we would kick them out and go, really, why are you even thinking that, right? You know, if I was to jump in your head, Liz, and I would be going, but Liz, you're brilliant. Why are you having these comments? Why are you doubting your expertise? It's because we tell ourselves stories, right? And one of the biggest things that we need to do is to catch those stories before they take over. I'm going to be totally transparent. Sorry. I've been in a funk since April 1st. I don't really know why I've been in it. I call it a funk because I can't really tell you what it is. But I've just kind of been percolating, I think is a better way to put it. So percolating, trying to figure out where I want to go next, what I want to offer next, what I want to do. And committing myself to things like this and going live really helped me work through my funk and the stories that are going in my head, because we all have stories. It's just that when I see posts like the one that I shared originally, when we keep piling on all those things we've been telling women for years, it pulls us away from our personal power instead of stepping into our personal power. And I want to encourage you to step into your personal power, no matter how messy and how weird it is. It will change your business. It will change your life. It'll change the direction of what you do. And how you can do this is just really just find a ritual, like what Robin does, where she does a ritual every time before she goes live. And she's not, I know Robin won't mind me saying this, she's not perfectly coiffured. She's herself. And that's what's so compelling about her. And I know personally, the people that I want to watch online, the videos that I bother to invest my time in, the lives, the challenges, they're all from people who come from that point. Those are the ones that attract me personally. They're the ones that I can say, look, I'm attracted to this person. I want to work with this person. I want to learn more from this person because I see their authentic power in themselves, not because they're perfect. You know, not because their copy's perfect, not because they look perfect. I want to work with them. I want to learn from them. I want to get to know more about them because they're comfortable in their power. And it's something I think we as women need to remind ourselves a lot, because it's easy to forget. And there's more and more stuff is coming out to support that, but it's not, you know, something we grew up with. Women of a certain age, which most of us in this group are, we didn't grow up with step into your power. That wasn't necessarily the message that we got. I was very fortunate. My father and my mother were very much about that. So I grew up with that more than what a lot of people have. But we still, you know, the media and everything else going on, that really wasn't about personal power. It wasn't about stepping into our personal power. And so how can you do that? I'm just looking at my notes because I want to make sure I cover everything that I wanted to say. One great exercise to do, by the way, for this is, if you don't know what your genius zone is necessarily, and I mean that not necessarily from, like, you could be a genius. Liz, I can use you as an example because you're here. Liz does bookkeeping and accounting. She could be a genius at that. But what else as kind of an overall trait do you have that you don't even recognize, that you don't even see because it's just so natural? So I'm going to, Liz, you don't mind, hopefully, that I'm going to do this. But one of the things that I know Liz has, because I know her, is she just has a really warm, welcoming persona, right? When you talk to Liz, when you speak with Liz, if you meet Liz, there's a lot of certainty that you display. So Liz displays a lot of really, just a very confident certainty, but also just a real curiosity about people and a real welcoming persona, right? And that can be a powerful place, right? That can be a really powerful place to be. So Liz shows this personality, this very comfortable, but also a level of curiosity about other people. That's powerful, right? That can be powerful. So Liz has a job that she's really good at, but there are attributes when you talk about stepping into your power. It's more about how you interact and how you present. There's another one of my clients who, her personal power is her down home, come in my country kitchen, have a cup of tea with me. That is the power that she brings to everything she does. And it is so attractive, right? Someone else I know, it's totally the opposite. Her personal power is high energy, rah, rah, let's go. And you get attracted to that rah, rah, high energy, let's go. The point of this is that all of us have a different personal power. It's about knowing it. And sometimes the best way to know it is to ask other people, because we don't really see ourselves naturally. I know I've done this exercise a lot for myself, where I'll ask clients and other people, what is it about me that you like? What is it about my coaching style? What is it about my presenting style that you like? What attracts you to that? And I always get pieces of nuggets, golden nuggets, and really good information about what my personal power is that I didn't recognize. I kind of thought, well, everybody else can do that, right? So thinking about that, Liz, I only realized in the last year that I'm good at helping people shift into calm when they're stressed. Something I never thought about it until others pointed it out in you. That's a fantastic example, right? Because that's a huge personal power, right? Wherever you're going with your business, that's a huge personal power to say that I can move people from stress to calm. What a wonderful skill to have, right? I have all my life, I've been the person that people tell their darkest secrets to. For the longest time, I'm like, I really don't know why. What is it about me that allows people to comfortably tell me things that they wouldn't tell anybody else, which is not always a great personal power. But what I realized is trust. People trust me implicitly with these pieces of information that they wouldn't normally share. There's an implied trust. There's an implied, this person's going to care about me. This person's going to understand and want to care, and they're going to listen to me. And those can be my personal powers, right? So really think about what they are. And if you're listening to the replay, #replay, we've got some eyes coming and going, which is typical on a Facebook Live. And that's the other thing about doing Facebook Lives or anything. You don't know who's reading it. You don't know who's listening to it. I did a Facebook Live last week on 5 ways to grow your audience, which is a great one if you haven't watched it. There were maybe 1 or 2 people live. I think over 50 or 60 or 70 people have watched it since, right? So Facebook Lives, YouTube Lives, Instagram Lives, doesn't matter where you're going, TikToks, all these things, you don't know who's watching. There's a lot of silence watchers online. So don't get hung up. This is a bit of an aside. Don't get hung up if people are watching or not watching, if people are interacting or not interacting. Doesn't mean that that one person on the other end isn't still there. So always think about that. Just looking at my notes. I think I covered the main points I wanted to do, but it really is about being you, and if you've never done Facebook Lives, if you're hesitant on doing Facebook Lives, just start, right? Just start and do them. If you're hesitant on posting really good content, and really good content is about curiosity. It's about getting people to understand, getting people to engage with you. So Liz, I was attracted to your group because of your realness, how you share your imperfectness and how that is okay. It makes me know that we just need to be us. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate that. And I am not perfect. If I tilted my phone down, you'd see how messy my office is. And there's yet another thing, right? There's lots of people on Facebook and Instagram telling women their offices have to be perfect. Everything has to be clean. Everything has to be wonderful. I am not a neat person. I'm an organized person, right? I can find anything in about 2 seconds flat, but it's not neat and perfect. And I'm okay. I've always been okay with that. But you recognize that people judge these things. And I've come to learn that people who might judge my totally imperfect, messy office aren't going to be my clients. There aren't going to be people who resonate with me on so many other levels. If people accept that and realize that I'm truly a really organized person and I can find information and I can help them achieve what they want to achieve, then that's what matters, not whether my piles of paper over here are neat or messy, right? And that's really one of those things about stepping into who you are, right? It's about just saying, yep, this is me, accept that. And that gives you power. And then take a lesson from Robin, because I think I quote Robin a lot on this because I think it's so empowering, is when you're writing content, when you're creating something for your business, always think about that one person on the other end who might be ready, who's listening, who you're going to help that day. No matter what you put out, whatever piece of content, be it written, an email to your email list, a post on social media, someone's reading that you might make a difference in them today. And then the other thing from Robin is really don't just go live, create a ritual. Create a ritual that's going to bring your power to your live. Create a ritual if you're about to write content. You know, for some people, for me, going live is easy. If I showed you my really messy notes, I just need to put down 3 or 4 things, and going live for me is easy. Writing takes a lot more effort for me. So I have to really start to create, like I tend to bulk write my content, because once I get in the mindset of writing content, I'm much better at writing content. Once I get into that mindset, so figure out what works for you and then do that. Lots of laugh, even if I have a pile of paper, but it is organized. Yes, even you who organize things have a pile of paper. So yes, right. And it's just judgment. We have so many things that we judge people about. It's just rude. And when we do, you know, we can question those judgments. But I think one of my mom, you know, actually quote my mother here. I didn't plan on that. But my mom told me my mom has passed away, but she told me, I don't know, when she was in her 50s or 60s, she said when she turned 40, it was the most freeing thing in the world. She said by that point, she couldn't care less what anybody else thought of her, and she could just be herself, right? And she grew up in the era of, my mother was born in the late 20s. So there was a lot of things in the 50s where women were judged on a lot of things. And I remember when she hit her 40s, she told me, she goes, that was the most fun time in life, because she couldn't care less what people thought of her at that point. It wasn't about them. She was just stepping into being who she was. And she found so much power in that. And so that's what I wish for you, is that exact same thing. It doesn't matter what other people think. If you're your powerful self, people will be attracted to you. They will want to work with you. And however that gets presented, that's what's going to change the difference, is when you show up with that passion behind you. And I'm not just talking about Facebook Lives, content, written material, your sales page, when you meet somebody, when you show up to work with somebody, when you bring you to the table, that's what's going to make a difference for your business. And as a result, if you make a difference for your business, if you grow, then you are going to help more people. And there's several people I know right now, clients and ex-clients, who are holding themselves back because they're in their heads. They're worried they're not good enough. They're worried nobody's going to listen to them. All of the stories that we tell ourselves that are so disempowering. One of the things I wanted to part with is, how do you rewrite those stories? So the first step is catch yourself. When you're telling yourself a story, like Liz was saying, you know, being alone and doing that stuff, we start telling ourselves stories that aren't true. When you start to tell yourself a story that's not true, the first step is to catch it. To really catch it and go, why am I telling myself this story? And then how can you change the narrative? How can you actually change that story and start telling yourself a story that is much more empowering? Right? And we'll use the one of a messy person. I could get on my case about my messy office. I could tell myself, well, I'm not organized. My office is not a mess. My business, I could go down that rat hole. Or I could just tell myself, doesn't matter. My office is a mess, but I can find anything at any point in time, usually faster than anybody else. Right? So what if my office is a mess? And I bring this one up. You can tell I have baggage on an office being a mess. So that one's not... There are many people who might criticize my office and my office being a mess in my life, but I don't care, right? I can find things. I know what I'm doing. I have enough place to work. I know what's there, and so what? So I could go down the rat hole of letting my office being a mess really drag me down and cause me not to stand in my power, or I can just say, hey, it's not an issue. It's not important to me. It doesn't define who I am, and it doesn't affect how I present myself or what I do in my business. And that's empowering. So how can you rewrite those negative stories that we're telling yourselves? How can you catch yourself, number one, and ask yourself, are you telling yourself somebody else's story? My office being a mess, I'm telling myself somebody else's story, because it's really not that messy, by the way, but I'm telling myself, my sister-in-law is the neatest person in the world, right? So I always have that kind of level of somebody's looking at my world. To my sister-in-law, my office would be a total mess, right? I love my sister-in-law dearly. She loves me dearly. But it's always one of those points where it's a case of, if I look at my office through my sister-in-law's lens, it's a total disaster. If I look through my office through my own lens and recognize I'm okay with it. It doesn't affect how I work. It doesn't bother me. It's not important, and I can spend my time so much better in another mindset in another way. So what is those stories that you tell yourselves that you need to rewrite so that you're not bringing yourself down, so that you can step into your power? So that's one. Rewrite your stories. Catch yourself when the stories are bad. Rewrite your stories so you can step into power. Two, learn from Robin, because Robin's awesome. About really, it's the person on the end of the content that you're creating, the person that you can help, the person that you can make a life-changing difference to. They're the person that matters, not you, right? So when you come at that authentically and 100% in your power, that one person or that 10 or those 10 people or those 20 people, they're going to resonate with your power. And one of the great things about marketing, in all honesty, is we want marketing that attracts our ideal clients and repels the people who aren't. Why would you work with somebody who's going to criticize you for not wearing makeup or having to mess at the office or whatever, right? They're not your ideal clients. So stepping into your power, being 100% authentically you're going to attract the people, the ones that you want to work with, whether you sell products or services. You are going to attract those awesome people. And that's really the point of what I wanted to get across today that came off of that post in another group, was that you step into your power when you just are authentically you and you don't really worry about what other people think about you. You're more concerned with how you can help somebody else. And that's really where our power comes from. And that was my main intent for today's training. If you're on the replay, do #replay. If you have any questions and you're watching the replay, let me know. If you have any comments about stepping into your power and what's holding you back, I would love to hear, because I pretty much guarantee some other woman has got the same thing holding them back. That we all have these voices and these society things that we've been told that hold us back from stepping into our power. And the other thing I'd love for you to do is when you're listening to other people on social media, when you're stopping to listen to something and somebody really resonates with you, what is it about them that resonates with you? And if you're not sure about yourself, like Liz did, ask your friends. Ask somebody what resonates with you. It's great. Liz gave me feedback today. How awesome, right? It's my realness that resonates with her. So how awesome is that to get that feedback today from Liz, right? So when we're authentic and we're opened up and we're willing to play in our power, it's amazing what you can get back. And it's also amazing how much it energizes you. Because like I said earlier, I've been in a bit of a funk for a week or so. And when I do stuff like this and I interact and I'm talking, I get energized, because I know that my power can help somebody else. So that's what I wanted to share today. Thank you so much, Liz, for being live, posting messages. It's so much more fun to do lives when there's somebody out there listening to you. It just makes the moment energy better, but I'm always happy with the people who listen to the replays on these lives. And if you haven't listened to last week's live, I encourage you to go back, because it was about how do you grow your audience. And if growing your audience is important to your business, then I encourage you to go and listen to last week's live if you haven't, because there were some really good tips in that one as well about how to grow your business. And if you want to chat more about stepping into your power, just direct message me, drop me a message, say, Heather, I want to chat. And I would love to have a chat with you about how I can help you step into your power. So thanks, Liz. Appreciate it. Thanks all the other eyes that came by, and we will see you next week. Wednesday at 3 p.m. is Coaching Live in the group. Thanks. Bye.